be more of an off-ball player. Like, I kind of like him as a score-first shooting guard rather than like a pass-first point guard. So maybe he just ends up backing up Shaedon Sharpe next year. But there's so many veteran guards there in Portland. I think Charlotte can make a trade for Scoot Henderson after trading away LaMelo Ball this offseason. Kobe White can also be more of like an off-ball scorer. You have Scoot and Christian Anderson. And then I have T.J. Salon, still a project player, but took some steps offensively last year. Goes into a forward depth that's not really existent there in Portland after Denny, Kamara, and like City Sissoko. And then I have 2 first-round picks here, but the 2 first-rounders are definitely some of the more least valuable picks that Charlotte owns. Like, it's a Miami 2027 lottery protected first. We just steal with Giannis Antetokounmpo that the Heat make the playoffs, and then a 2028 swamp that they ended up getting in the LaMelo Ball trade, but that one shouldn't really have too much value because Minnesota's probably going to be good. And then, yeah, we're going to see Henderson go to Charlotte where he can kind of develop under Charles Lee. He can actually play starting point guard minutes because I don't think Scoot is ever going to start at the 1 next year. You're not bringing John Morant off the bench. I don't think he's going to be okay with that. Drew Holiday might be okay with that, but you got to start Shaedon Sharpe. You're paying him a lot of money. Or you're going to start a returning Damian Lillard. I just don't see the path where Scoot Henderson is going to develop as a ball handler or a scorer as much right now with how crowded this room is. That's why I thought maybe they were going to trade away a couple of these guards for Jaylen Brown. Maybe they pivot to Trey Murphy, who we're going to talk about a lot in this video. But this one is kind of Charlotte seeing what's the value in Scoot Henderson as he's entering the final year of his rookie contract. I was trying to come up with some Zion trade ideas, and I just don't know what team would take a chance on Zion. I just don't really think Zion and Derek Queen will work in that front court, and I'd rather just try to maximize Derek Queen over the next few years and just see what you can do around Zion Williamson. So this one is the Milwaukee Bucks taking a chance on Zion. You get him here for $42 million, but right now he doesn't have a full guarantee for the second year. You absorb Jordan Watkins to make the money work, and then you have Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma going to New Orleans. So for New Orleans, you get Kuzma, you can maybe flip at the deadline. Either way, it's a $20 million expiring contract, and you get a center that I think can actually work with Derek Queen, because Queen is a very talented offensive player. He likes to operate around the rim, but if Zion's out there with Queen, opposing defenses are just not guarding Zion on the perimeter. He can't really shoot the 3 ball, but you have to respect Miles Turner on the perimeter, which can allow Derek Queen to keep developing as an offensive hub inside the restricted area. So that's why I think this could make more sense for New Orleans long term. Turner and Queen makes more sense than Zion and Queen. And I feel like Turner is still a good asset to have right now, even though the contract is kind of large. As for Milwaukee, you're getting out of that long-term money from Miles Turner as you're entering into this repool. You take a chance on Zion Williamson, maybe a change of scenery will help, and he can maybe be that franchise guy in Milwaukee that people thought he could be in New Orleans. It was just an idea to switch things up. I just don't really see the Zion Queen front court working one day, and I just think it's better to switch it up now than maybe too late down the line. I have an interesting one-for-one trade here. I don't know which team would have to throw in more capital in this deal, either draft capital or another player.
And that's just from the woman over there.
You just earned 5% cash back on that. Also, if I start a condo line, what do you do?
Earn 5% cash back in different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases when you activate. It's a Josh Giddey for Jalen Suggs swap. So you can make an argument to me that Josh Giddey is actually a better 3-point shooter than Jalen Suggs. Now, in a high-pressure situation, I don't know if I could really believe that, but I do think it's a debate right now with Suggs clearly a better defender than Josh Giddey, but Josh Giddey's a way better passer, way better playmaker, and I wonder if this trade could go through because Franz and Powell are guys you can trust on the perimeter defensively. You would have Josh Giddey and Desmond Bane in the backcourt. Obviously not the greatest defensive backcourt, but you do need somebody that can slow the game down, get everybody to their spots, that has great passing vision, great basketball IQ, and Giddey's a way better point guard than Jalen Suggs. Now, you can still operate with Anthony Black going forward as well, but Giddey's making a little bit less than Jalen Suggs, which is going to matter so much for Orlando when they become a repeat offender in the luxury tax over the next few years. And I think a player like Jalen Suggs' archetype is harder to find than Josh Giddey right now, and Chicago can have Suggs, Caleb Wilson, Dalen Swain on the perimeter. I believe that's what Thiago Splitter and Bryson Graham want to build in Chicago. So this is like an intriguing one-for-one swap. It's something that goes down that I could be like, yeah, that actually made sense. It's kind of like Josh Giddey going for like another version of Alex Caruso a couple of years after he got traded from OKC to Chicago. And I wonder what team would say no on this one. You can let me know who do you think has more trade value right now, Josh Giddey or Jalen Suggs. I feel like Atlanta's got to hit another big man before the season starts. Now, I do like Onyeka Okongwu, maybe not as a rim protector. I'm really excited about Zubi Ejiofor because he's looked pretty good in Summer League so far. Cameron Baystar might be a work in progress on the defensive end, but could there still be a Daniel Gafford trade out there? This one would send Corey Kispert and Buddy Hield to Dallas. Buddy Hield basically has 1 year remaining of guaranteed money now, and then Corey Kispert doesn't have the greatest contract in the world, but Dallas might eventually move on from Klay Thompson. They don't really have the most shooting on the perimeter. That's where Corey Kispert could fit in, and they're going to get some second-round draft capital in this trade. Now, they might checked in on Daniel Gafford at the deadline as well. And for Dallas, you get to recoup some second-round draft capital in this deal. You get a movement shooter in Corey Kispert. It's going to sting a little bit that you might not get a first-round pick. That might have to be included in this deal as well. I just don't think anyone is giving up a first-rounder at this point for Daniel Gafford. Maybe they're fine just running into next year's season with Okongwu, Jock Londo, who they did sign for $14 million, Zubi Ejiofor, and Henry Basar. Just think they need that rim protector. I like Gafford a lot in Atlanta. So you're going to look at this picture here and say, Matt, what is going on with this screenshot? It doesn't make any sense. Well, I do have a signing trade happening and actually coming to fruition. Jalen Duren going to the Sacramento Kings for Domantas Sabonis and a top 8 first-round pick in 2027. Detroit's had an interesting offseason so far. I want to think that a bigger move is coming. Maybe it's Trey Murphy, maybe it's Kevin Durant, but it could just be more likely than maxing out Jalen Duren. Because Jalen Duren in his camp probably just saw Walker Kessler go for 4 first-round picks, $32.5 million a year, and then they're going to be like, well, Kessler just played 5 games last year. My client ended up making all of the third team on a 60-win roster. Why is he not getting $40 million a year? But a team that would probably give him that money, the Sacramento Kings. I don't know if this one is still going to happen. I still believe that Jalen Duren is going to be back in Detroit. It's just kind of odd how long this is dragged out. They did just trade away Karis LeVert to the Milwaukee Bucks to save some more money, but they always had the money to give Jalen Duren no matter what he got. I don't know why they really throwing cap space to do this because they had his early bird rights, but this deal still gets you a solid offensive big man in return just with 2 years remaining on Domantas Sabonis' contract rather than giving Jalen Duren 4 to 5 years of $40 million. And hey, you get a first-round pick from the Sacramento Kings. It could be top 8 protected next year. Then it could roll over to like top 6 in 2028. And hey, whenever you can get a first-round pick from Sacramento, that can have some value in this league. I would be very excited about Darius Acuff and Jalen Duren in Sacramento. Obviously, Cade and Duren worked in Detroit. I just feel like if there's going to be a team that swoops in and takes Jalen Duren, kind of like how the Lakers did with Walker Kessler, it'd be Sacramento right now. I'm trying to find the best Trey Murphy situation because how has he not been traded yet? I mean, the Pelicans have only made one move. Time I'm recording this video. Well, they drafted Jaron Peter with the 59th overall pick, and they re-signed DeAndre Jordan. That's basically all they've done so far. They did hire a new head coach, Jamal Mosley. Could they call up the Houston Rockets and trade away Trey Murphy for Jabari Smith Jr. and the Phoenix first-round pick next year, which could actually be way more valuable than the Brooklyn pick because that could end up in that sweet spot of like 4 through 10 if Phoenix maybe progresses a little bit next year. You get Jabari Smith Jr. in New Orleans, who can also space the floor like Trey Murphy. He's under contract for 5 more years now that his extension kicks in, and Houston gets maybe a way better movement shooter, way better catch and shoot guy on the perimeter next to Thompson, Şengün, and Kevin Durant. Like my theory is basically Murphy is better than Jabari Smith. He's still under a big contract for 3 more years, so that's why a first-round pick has to go in this trade. I actually don't mind this return at all for New Orleans. I would like this a lot. I just don't know if Houston's going to go this route. My next idea is Denver saving money because they're in this kind of like Peyton Watson standoff where the Clippers going to come in and make an offer that Denver can't really afford for Peyton Watson. So this one is going to save some money. They're going to call up the Charlotte Hornets, a team that's been very active this offseason. They're going to trade away Cam Johnson for Grant Williams, a veteran under an expiring contract. They also get Liam McNeely in this deal as well because Charlotte drafted 2 new rookies this year. They had 4 first-round picks last year. They have Miles Reed, O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Kidnapple, Brandon Miller, a lot of guys on the perimeter. I just don't see the path for Liam McNeely at the moment. And I just think like he fits what Charles Lee is doing in Charlotte, in Cam Johnson. I think he's definitely going to be better in 2027 than he was in 2026. It was a new system to get acclimated to. I think he was in his own head in the first half. And they'd save about $6 million in Denver with this trade, which can go a long way in the luxury tax penalty escalators, where now they can maybe afford Jayden Watson and they're not going to lose him as well. So this is on the contingency that this deal here allows Denver to re-sign Jayden Watson. They don't mind Charlotte taking the upside of Cam Johnson in a bounce-back season in a contract year. They can either flip him at the deadline or it can be perfect under Charles Lee for the long term. My next trade here, I don't know if it's going to happen just because these 2 teams just made a trade. So maybe this would have been the idea. It's a Tyler Hero to Detroit trade. Tyler Hero for Duncan Robinson, Ron Holland, and 2 first-round picks. I'm not really sure where Milwaukee is valuing Tyler Hero right now. My idea is like we just saw Detroit have clear offensive issues in the playoffs. They lost Tobias Harris. They brought in John Collins. I think John Collins can be as efficient as Tobias Harris, maybe not a better shot creator than Tobias Harris. They might bring back Jalen Duren, they might not. And they brought in Abuka Corey, they brought in Isaiah Joe. I just don't know if they have a guy on their roster right now that can complement Cade Cunningham and half-court offense in the playoffs. That's why I wanted them to try to sign Austin Reeves or trade for Michael Porter Jr. or make a big swing for a complimentary scorer and a number 2 offensive weapon next to Cade Cunningham. They haven't done that this offseason. I don't know if if I'm going to think any different about them in the playoffs next year when they almost lost in 7 to the 8 seeded Orlando Magic. They did come back down to 3-1 to do so. So I think Tyler Hero would be a perfect fit next to Cade Cunningham. He can be a high usage number 2. He's an elite 3-point shooter. He's somebody that opposing defenses have to respect with the ball in their hands. And for Milwaukee here, you're taking the upside of Ron Holland long term. You get Duncan Robinson as another movement shooter. I don't know if they want to get another bench piece here. And then you get 2 first-round picks. Detroit's 2027 first, Detroit's 2029 first. I'm not really sure how much more draft capital would be in this deal. It's kind of just like what you're valuing Hero and Holland apart from each other. But I still think the framework is there of Hero to Detroit. And somebody that's lethal on the offensive end. So the Washington Wizards just surprisingly brought back Chris Middleton. I did not expect him to be back in Washington. And I'm just kind of looking at their perimeter depth right now. They have way too many guys, I think. And I believe that Cam Whitmore could get waived and Justin Champagnie could be the out right now. Now, Justin is not as good as Julian, but I do think there would be a strong market for him. I'm like for my Knicks to swoop in and get him. I think they can use another perimeter guy next year. Landry Shamet sometimes has injury concerns. He's thrown a lot of miles and minutes on OG and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges in recent years. And this deal actually saves the Knicks money as well. They're going to send out the Fomi.EA for Justin Champagnie, but they're obviously going to have to kick in some draft capital. 3 second-rounders in this deal. The Knicks basically picked up like 5 new second-rounders on the night of round 1 and round 2 of the 2026 NBA draft. Use a little bit of that draft capital to get Champagnie, the Brooklyn native. He's under a great contract for the next 2 years. He can be a high-level role player for you as you're trying to go back to back. I'd assume Washington could probably find something better out there. I don't think they're landing a first for Justin Champagnie, but maybe they can land 4 second-rounders, 5 second-rounders, somebody with a little bit more value than Fomi.EA. I just think it makes sense for Washington to just trim up some of that wing forward depth right now because I think there's way too many.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
go into next season with trading away Moses Moody. LeBron James or not, they need to get somebody that can actually play for them next year because Moses Moody is most likely missing all of the 2027 season with that lower body injury. So maybe they can call up the Chicago Bulls, a team that's kind of rebuilding and retooling that just added some further guys throughout the draft, and they can acquire Isaac Okoro and 2 second-round draft picks for Moses Moody. I think Chicago could throw in some second-round capital in this deal as well, just because Moody has way more long-term upside than Okoro. He's a way better offensive player, not as good defensively, and that's why I think Chicago can go that route because of Moody's offensive potential after 2. And for Golden State, you're just getting Okoro who's under an expired contract. It's a tradable $12 million deal if it doesn't go well in the first half of the season, but you need somebody that could take some tough defensive assignments, especially
Miller Trucks, and then there's the 2026 GMC Sierra. It's the truck.
Get 0% APR on the Sierra Denali. With employee pricing for everyone, that's over $13,000. You get Jimmy Butler out the first half of the season. I like Yax Alexander. Let's get another wing defender out there. You get a little bit of second-round draft capital in this deal. Next up here, another low-level trade. It's the Toronto Raptors looking to acquire another center because I think they can still use one. And it's them acquiring Oso Ighodaro from the Phoenix Suns for Trey Jackson-Davis and 3 second-round picks. Now, Oso is a lot better than Trey Jackson-Davis in my opinion. I think Ighodaro could be a really good backup on a good team next year at the center position. And that's what I thought when I was watching him come out of Marquette. I just don't know if there's like enough minutes to go around between Kamon Aliwatch, who you want to play more, he's the 10th overall pick in the 25 draft, Mark Williams, who just re-signed for 3 more years, and Ighodaro, where none of them can really space the floor via power forward. You just traded for Miles Bridges, who's going to take majority of those power forward minutes, same as Dylan Brooks. So if you can get some second-round draft capital, it's a good ROI on Ighodaro. Maybe you take 4 second-rounders. I think Toronto could use somebody like Oso moving forward because their center rotation in Toronto right now is basically Jakob Poeltl and Trey Jackson-Davis. They signed Kyle Anderson at 33 years old. I mean, you could play Scotty Barnes and Conor Wells at the small ball 5, but if you give up enough capital in this deal to get it done, I would make this if I were the Raptors. I'm just not sure if Phoenix is ready to trade Ighodaro because, hey, injuries got something out of the center spots. All right, I have a 3-team trade idea here because I still keep seeing the Trey Murphy to Boston rumors, and I'm not sure they're willing to give up Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser to get that deal done. Maybe they would, but I believe they want to keep Peyton Pritchard. So this one is going to be a 3-team deal where they're giving up Derek White because I don't think New Orleans really wants Derek White whatsoever. And I'm wondering who's getting the short end of the stick here. So it's the Dallas Mavericks trading away Klay Thompson, who they're probably ready to move on from, and Max Christie for Derek White, who can have a bounce-back season. He'd be a great backcourt partner to Kyrie Irving, and that is a legitimate backcourt in the Western Conference of Kyrie and Derek White. You're basically going from Derek White to Trey Murphy in Boston, which is obviously going to get you younger, a little bit cheaper, fits the system extremely well with his 3-point shooting ability. He can still guard multiple positions. Not the greatest defender in the world, but I think in this specific system will be just fine. And then the Pelicans are going to play Thompson, which would be kind of sad for Clay's career, but I'm sure they could work on a buyout or something like that. You get Max Christie, who does become a free agent at the end of the year, but you give him plenty of reps in that backcourt. I think they could use another shooting guard, and you get 2 first-round picks to Boston. Maybe you want one of the Philly picks. Maybe you need something else. I'm just kind of unsure how much first-round draft capital would have to go back to New Orleans because at this point, you might say, Matt, I'd rather just keep Trey Murphy than get this return. But maybe a third first-round pick has got to be thrown in here. Maybe they got to get Jordan Walsh or somebody like that in this trade as well. But this was just a framework of Trey Murphy going to Boston because I don't really see the Pelicans wanting Garrett White whatsoever unless they think they can flip Garrett White in a different deal, kind of like how the Blazers did that with Drew Holiday when they traded Damian Lillard from Milwaukee. Another Houston Rockets trade here. Instead of trading away Fred VanVleet, who opted into his $25 million player option, I think there's very few contending teams out there that want a point guard upgrade, and this would be maybe a little bit risky coming off the torn ACL, but this one would send Nikola Jovic and Davion Mitchell to the Houston Rockets for Fred VanVleet. So it gives Houston some more depth. It gives them a good sweet spot tradable contract at $12.5 million for Davion Mitchell, who's very good. It could be better next year than Fred VanVleet, but it gets Miami off of that Nikola Jovic contract that just kicks in. So you're taking an upside swing. You're taking a little bit of a risk if you're the Houston Rockets. He's looked good for Team Serbia in the European qualifiers this summer. Maybe he's due for a bounce back season. Miami kind of did something similar a couple of years ago when they traded for Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors. Fred VanVleet could complement Giannis and Dan maybe a little bit better, but like I said, you're kind of taking a big risk for both teams here. Where Houston's taking the risk of Nikola Jovic because if he does not bounce back to what he maybe was before the contract extension, that's a bad contract for the next 3+ seasons. And then for Miami, you're taking a risk on a smaller guard coming off an ACL tear, playing under the last year of this contract. I feel like the OKC Thunder kind of trade away New York, right? Like they think they're a team option. Maybe they're fine with him making $17 million next year. Now, if the Clippers don't land a Peyton Watson and they don't make another big move this offseason, I think they can use that trade exception from the John Collins trade to Detroit to go out and get Lou Dort from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They can take in some second-round draft capital in this deal. And I feel like Lou Dort makes a ton of sense in Los Angeles, especially if they don't re-sign Chris Dunn or they don't bring him back. I think they can use another perimeter defender over there as well. And OKC would pick up some second-round draft capital that they love to acquire. They can use a trade exception in this deal also, which gives them a little bit more flexibility long-term because I think they want to re-sign Casey Wallace. We have one more Trey Murphy trade. It's just Atlanta getting involved in Trey Murphy because what if they trade away 2 wings in their crowded wing room of Corey Kispert and Zachary Risache for Trey Murphy? I also have a first-round swap with Cleveland in 2028. It's not the most valuable first-round pick in the world. I still kind of struggle what Joe Dumars would accept in a Trey Murphy deal, but I really struggle to figure out what Zachary Risache's value is throughout the league. He was kind of thrown around in AD trade rumors at the deadline. I think Risache could actually develop in New Orleans just fine. You get a great player in Atlanta right away. You're not really going to take on too much extra money in this deal also. And I don't think you're going to have the most valuable first-round pick. I actually really like this for Atlanta to kind of swoop in and get Trey Murphy because will Risache ever hit the ceiling on Trey Murphy? I'm not sure. And then it's a little bit better optically, I think, if you're the Pelicans, to say that we traded Trey Murphy for a former number 1 overall pick. And then lastly, I have the deal that gets probably LeBron to the Golden State Warriors. It's Golden State getting Will Dawkins of the Washington Wizards to say yes to this. It's going to be Jimmy Butler, a 2027 unprotected first-rounder, and a 2029 swap for Anthony Davis. This is still a crazy deal if it could go down. It's obviously been rumored a ton. I would love to see LeBron, Curry, Draymond, AD all play together in Golden State as an entertainment factor, as an NBA fan. Not really sure if it's going to win a ton of games. It's obviously going to be a very old, injury-prone roster, and it would be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, for Washington, you're acquiring another wing in Jimmy Butler, who can help you when he comes back from his ACL tear. He can play a similar position next to Alex Sarr at the 4, obviously a different play style, but he gets some nice draft capital going forward. Because if you're not willing to give AD the extension and he maybe leaves next offseason or doesn't really want to play in Washington, maybe this deal just makes sense for the Wizards going forward, but we'll see. This is more just like the NBA fan and wanting to see this deal go down. So yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, let me know by dropping a thumbs up or let me know down below. Did you really disagree with any of these trade offers? You can let me.
Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation here in Las Vegas. Sources tell me that Bam Adebayo struck Tyler Hero in the face area as they were walking off the practice court. And in Las Vegas hotel, Bam Adebayo broke Tyler Hero.
In my mind, if you are Hall of Fame, that means that somebody can pick you up and drop you off in any era in basketball, and either you would play the same way or you would dominate even more. I feel like you could play my game 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 300, and I would dominate even more than what I did at my time. In my mind, if you are Hall of Fame, that means that somebody can pick you up and drop you off in any era in basketball, and either.
All right, bro. Appreciate it. teleport. There's no way he's gonna hold in time, right? No, we killed him east. Alright, bro, let's go. Wait, is this some the back?
Sergeant Gray. Yes, sir. I just got off the phone with my wife. The patrol that you assigned to my neighbor never showed up.
That's my fault, sir. I rerouted the officers to assist the traffic collision. If you want to file a complaint, it would be well within your rights to do so.
I would if I were remaining in command here. Sergeant Gray.
I sent it to my.
Saving Private Ryan, that opening film, The Storming of the Beach, that might be the most realistic depiction of war that's ever been made.
So I remember reading the script and all that dialogue with them on the boat coming in, and Stephen goes, I cut all of that out. He goes, no talking for the first 27 minutes. These guys are puking, it's like the thing's up, it's here. And that's
Saving Private Ryan, that opening film, The Storming of the
What's going on? How are you today? Good, how are you? What's that? In the car. You found Dan gave you a heart attack. I just got this from the dealership, bro. You flying? What's going on?
Did you know a combination of
I know I got a huge veil in this tire. Bro, hey, you're Marine? Yeah. You too. I can see through your back. What's going on, baby? Oh my God. Don't run. I know I got a huge veil in this tire. Bro, hey, you're Marine? Yeah. You too. I can see through your back.
I'm not letting you in. You're fine.
I actually don't have keys, Ryan.
Okay.
What do you mean? Was it you who get stolen?
Close it. TikTok.
Well, we're here for you, man. Definitely here for you.
Why?
With all the information that we do have, you have one.
man.
I don't understand.
I gotta still put you in there.
How we really?
I got the Minnesota, and the owner at the time, bro, came up to me and said, man, you better get us to the playoffs. I traded my favorite player for you, and I don't know you. I said, damn. I'm trying to think who was on the team. They went to the playoffs in 14 years. They was like, I'm like, Zach, Ricky, Rubio? He was like, yeah, what the fuck? I'm like, you serious? He was like, mad. He was like, don't worry about that shit. I got the Minnesota, and the owner at the time, bro, came up to me and said, man, you better get us to the playoffs. I traded him.
Yeah, that'd be cool, right? My guard has stopped us for some reason. I thought we were going to get that guy. What's going on in the car today, huh?
Mama is gonna whoop your ass when you get home, bro.
He said, why we see it? We're trying to get home anyway. We got some McDonald's. Happy.
But then put the stripes out on us. You hear me? You forgot we share the same house. You stupid, bro. Your camera better be recording so I don't see the red dot. Mama is gonna whoop your ass when you get home, bro.
He said, why we see it?
Von Miller is the
See, we're gonna. There's also this room. There's 100 no entry. No, wait, it's on.
Did you buy these?
Yeah. Let's.
I'm gonna have to take these. They're too different for me.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's hilarious. I had one already in here.
There's also this room. There's 100 no.
My take is that Sam Darnold is a dark horse, and he's easily one of the more real. Jason, I knew he had a chance to be a pro, but I was also worried academically. So Jason is not doing great in school, and I said, Jason, listen, every time you miss a tutor, you miss a class, you're late to something, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Sure enough, first day I get a phone call, missed his tutor. 6 o'clock in the morning, he's up running. Next day, was late for class.
I knew he had a chance to be a pro, but I was also worried academically. So Jason is not doing great in school, and I said, Jason, listen, every time you miss a tutor, you miss a class, you're late for something, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Sure enough, first day I get phone call, 3 shot in the head, and catch 8 receptions. One of the greatest photos in the history of NBA is this. No look to LeBron.
Yeah, so every single one of these observers are hooked up to TNT Minecart. Yeah, so this is what's going to happen. I'm actually going to charge you money if you want to escape this and live. So what you're going to do is you're first going to pay me 10 mil, or I'm going to place an obsidian and this whole place is going to explode.
Do you think you're tough?
I do think I'm done.
I know how to escape this.
You do.
A pro.
Yeah, so every single one of these observers are hooked up to TNT.
Zero.
Jason! Yo, bro, you don't got aura. Yo, Westbrook, I'm a biggest fan. Westbrook. Boy, how many minutes you playing? Get it? 0. My boy, how many minutes you playing?
Union 0. Usually stage anything till 6. Stage anything till 6. Zero.
Hey, look, you get in?
Zero.
Yo, Jason! Jason!
AI affecting your work? Make it work for you. Sign up for free AI training.
I am now very much looking forward to this game in a way that I kind of wasn't like expecting myself to.
Alright, boys, we are finally back after almost 5 months without uploading and touching the game, which is the longest I've gone without uploading. I just had to handle some personal things, but hopefully we are back this time. But yeah, first game back, we are on solos. I was gonna get on casuals for the first game back because I just didn't want to embarrass myself, but I'm not waiting for the playlist 10 minutes. But yeah, whatever happens, happens. Oh my god. Poor guy. No way. Am I gonna chase this now? No way. There's no way. Oh my. Jesus. A year ago I would get it so lucky I'm lost as fuck. Like, bro, look at this fucking. Oh my god. I don't know how I won that, bro. Shout out Emerson. That's the gun, that's the gun. That's not me, that's the gun.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Bro, I don't know what the meta is. But it definitely is vicious.
What? I didn't even see him, bro. Like, you can't even see this nigga, this fucking.
Give me that shit. Oh my god, he's still here? What the? Oh my god, look at this. Wow, this guy's talented. Holy shit. I don't even know what my loadout is. I mean, like, I don't even know what the meta is. I just put in some bullshit. After this, I gotta see what the meta is. Hopefully, I don't have to upgrade it. Hopefully, it's still it should have load up. This is hitting them. Oh, Brian, man.
Enemy UAV is online.
I don't know what he was trying to do with that grapple. Oh, I know he's tight. But he's tight. Bro, you're still sitting here?
Jedi drone standing by.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Oh my god, what am I doing? I don't know, I thought it was like some precision, like airstrike or some shit.
It's cooked.
No way he gets away. Oh my. Bro, what the fuck am I doing? Bro, I am so bad, bro. Like, why did I come back to this bullshit? I can't be this shit. No way I'm this bad.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Hostile UAV in the area. Fire sales over. Just in pricing.
Bro, I'm so. And I just got their party.
Switching mags.
Yeah, bro, I am. Oh my god.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Got out controller.
Resurgence is close. No more second chances.
Yeah, bro, I am.
Right. This hasn't exactly been a wonderful 24 hours for me.
I am so bad.
So many years of playing this game and I've never opened it, so I don't know how to open it. What do you do? I'm just bugging me. I'm dead on it. Bro, I feel like such a bot, but just give me a day or two, I'll be back. Yeah, right now I feel like a bot. I feel like an actual bot.
I can't like it.
Did you yell at putting your fat shit? Oh my god.
Switching mags.
Enemy precision airstrike. Find cover.
Oh my. Bro, I feel like a bot, bro. Like a. What the? What?
You're in the top three. Don't let up now.
What the?
Chill, bro. I am so lost. I am, bro. I'm so lucky, man. A year ago, I'm looking at my class setup that I was gonna put at the end of the video, and I'm just now seeing that this shit has 3 attachments. I don't even think I used it in the gameplay. I gotta check, but yeah, they're showing us things. I don't even know if this is the meta. Like I.
There's so many electricity plants. Where do I find the best price? Easy. Check with me. Look.
Oh, good. Where's he at?
What the fuck? Oh, hell no. Oh, what? How do you know?
I'm back, bitch. Don't run. Alright, motherfuckers, welcome back to another video. As you can see by the title, we are using the MP5, the C9, whatever you want to call it. This is the class that I was using. I paired it up with the M13. I'm not gonna lie, this shit is hella fun. Hey, let me know down in the comments how y'all feel about this new update. I'm not gonna lie, this shit is ass. I don't know who came up with that idea, but you need to be fired. But let me stop bitching. Big shout out to these boys for having notice on. I love y'all. If you do enjoy today's video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Please like the video. Get me back an algorithm. Yeah, man, that's enough yapping for me. I love y'all. Peace. I should have won that last time.
Here's my thing. Nuance. Because I have said, this is a game. Quietly. You know, if other season,
Everyone knows I've been struggling.
the bottom line is that she went up on the block because she told me that Davon was her untouchable. I'm sorry that Davon is a casualty in this. I don't want her to be. I didn't want to put Davon up. But no matter who she had said, that person would have been up beside her. Period. And now she wants to leverage whatever happened between her and Tyler in their season for me to backboard Tyler. And she's mad because, like, she's taking this personal because this is personal gain. What the fuck is personal gain? That sounds like gain. Personal is leveraging your personal life to get it. I'll handle it. Don't worry. Okay.
You should go in the HOH one.
No, absolutely not. I live here too. I can go wherever the fuck I want. Surprise. Here we go. Shut the fuck up. I don't have to. I live here too. Shut the fuck up, girl. I don't have to. Shut the fuck up. Why are you adding fuel? Just go. No, why are you adding fuel? You are. Yeah.
Yeah, girl, that. Yeah, let's go make a film. What is it, 4 a.m. in Los Angeles right now? Probably, yeah.
This is CBS on Paramount Plus.